Hi, just noticed that my steering's a bit stiff. Do you think you can do something with it?
Okay, in this video we're going to be changing the power assist steering fluid in this Ford Focus Mark 1. The little tank is located right at the rear of the engine bay. For this car and other modern Fords, you need a fairly specific semi-synthetic power steering fluid. This is an Australian product, but anything that meets the Ford spec is what you want. Don't use something generic. Ideally you'll have a pump of some sort like this one from a soap bottle. It's not strictly necessary, but it's helpful. And a bucket to put the old fluid in. And definitely a funnel. So let's take a look at the old fluid in this car. As you can see, it's really dark and dirty. It's probably never been replaced in the lifetime of the car. So this is one reason why the steering's a bit stiffer than it should be. The first thing we're going to do is use the pump to get out as much of the existing steering fluid as we can. This step isn't strictly necessary because you can skip it and just pull off the tank and pour it into the bucket. But if you do that, you're risking making a bit of a mess, so this is safer. Once you've got as much of the steering fluid out as you can get, the next thing to do is to move the coolant expansion tank out of the way as much as possible because it's going to obstruct the removal of the power steering tank. So to do that, you just remove the single bolt which is at the front of the tank underneath the hoses, and then the tank just lifts out of a little plastic clip and you can just put it to one side. You don't need to disconnect the hoses or anything like that. Then we need to pull the power steering tank out. It's just clipped in with little plastic clips. You just apply upward pressure and it'll pop out. There's no bolts or anything. At this point we're going to try to get as much of the power steering fluid out of the system as we can that we haven't got already. To do that we're going to turn the wheel back and forward a few times without the engine running. That's going to force fluid out of the system, and what we want it to do is when it gets to the tank we want it to just drain out. So we need to turn the tank upside down and have something catch the fluid as it comes out. Might need to get an assistant to help you with this. You could in theory run the engine and let the pump run, but that would risk running the pump dry and that could damage it. At this point you can put the tank back the correct way, put it back in its slot, and you can replace the coolant expansion tank. If you wanted to do 2 flushes, you'd need to delay this step until after you've done both flushes, obviously. I'm only showing one here in the video. Right, next thing to do is to simply put the new power assist steering fluid in. Use the funnel obviously, fill it up to its maximum level marker. And then you want to run the engine, but you run it very briefly. The idea is to simply run the pump for a few seconds. That's going to suck all the new fluid into the system where there was air previously, but it may run dry and you may hear that sound. At which point you need to cut the engine immediately, and then you top the level back up, and you do that until you can't top it up anymore. After you've done that, you want to take the car for a quick drive, just check how the steering feels, make sure it's all okay. After first 24 hours or something, you might want to have another look under the bonnet and just check that the level hasn't gone down any further, top it up if it has. After that you need to dispose of the old fluid in an environmentally friendly manner. Take it to the bins that most auto shops have, and then you're done.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be better. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.